Well, hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode with Brittney Bundles. You are listening to the Brittney Bundles podcast, where we empower people through entrepreneurship. And today, before we get started with our podcast episode, I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you to today's sponsor. Today, our sponsor is Tawana Nikwe. She is the owner of Tawana's Yannis and Tings. Allow them to assist you with your wholesale Yanni products as well as select adult toys. Has your business prepared for Black Friday? Let them help you. Go ahead and follow their new Instagram page at Tawana's Yannis. That is Tawana's, Towananas, Yannis, Yonis. The full Instagram website is www.instagram.com/Tawana's Yannis. Also, I do want to encourage you all to check out their website. Go visit their website so that you can also research and see the products that they are offering. Their website is www.tawanasyannisandtings.com. That is www.tawanasyannisandtings.com. Be sure to enroll in their email mailing list. That way you do receive different notifications and you will be first to know about more products, services, promotions, and also information pertaining to starting your business. If you are wanting to jump into selling Yanni's wholesale and also adult toys, be sure to check them out. Again, enroll in their email mailing list. That way you will stay connected with the business and be able to learn more information in regards to doing just that. They also have a YouTube channel. So check out their YouTube channel as well. The YouTube channel is Tawana's Yannis and Tings. I'll spell that again. It is TOWANA apostrophe S, Yannis, YONI apostrophe S, and Tings. So go to their YouTube channel right now. Don't delay. Check out what she is offering and what she is talking about over there. Also, you can now enjoy buy now, pay later options on Yanni bars, Yanni pops, and more. That means you can go over to their website at tawanasyannisandtings.com, enroll in their email mailing list, also choose a product to purchase, and you don't have to pay everything today. How amazing is that? How amazing is that? So go ahead and make sure that you are checking them out on Instagram, check them out on YouTube, and then also check out their website and enroll in their mailing list. I do want to thank you again for sponsoring this episode, Tawana. I do want to give another huge shout out to Tawana's Yannis and Tings. And without further ado, we're going to get started in just a moment with today's podcast episode. Talk to you all in a moment. And today's topic is going to be on the importance of keep pushing. Keep pushing. That is the reminder that was on my heart this morning when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today. And there are a lot of people that are needing this encouragement, this reminder to keep going, to not get discouraged, and to ultimately not give up. A lot of times we give up when we're so close to a breakthrough. And so I want to encourage as many people as I possibly can to keep the fire burning, to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and to make a conscious choice to stay committed to your goals no matter what. No matter what. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about the importance of pushing through. Keep pushing. Before we get into today's podcast episode, I do want to thank you all for joining me here today on this platform. I also want to remind you all to make sure that you're following me on YouTube. I do upload podcast episodes on YouTube as well. My channel is Brittney Bundles. And I do want to spread the word about this podcast. Like I say in so many episodes, not just for my sake, but I do want to share the word about the other businesses that have been on this platform, whether it's been an interview or a sponsor. I do want to share the word and spread information to as many people as possible so that we can continue to grow our businesses and we can also continue to empower people through entrepreneurship. So go ahead and share this episode if you have not already. Share it on social media. You can share it via Facebook, Twitter. You can share it via text message. You can also turn up this episode when you are riding in the car with a family member or friend. spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. We want to get out there as much as we possibly can to add more value and to also share the information that has been shared with us by numerous entrepreneurs and also myself. I've enjoyed sharing my business journey. I've enjoyed hearing or getting feedback from you all via emails and text messages. And even some people have sponsored the episode by sending in donations. I truly, truly appreciate that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started in a few. I'll be back to you all in a moment. All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome back. So again, today we're talking about the importance of pushing through. Keep pushing is what I'm going to title this podcast episode. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about the fact that entrepreneurs are humans, right? We're people. And so we go through different life events and we go through different circumstances and we experience different feelings and emotions that sometimes has us tapped out. Sometimes it has us tapped out, and not just tapped out, but sometimes we can find ourselves being discouraged and we can find ourselves not wanting to move forward. And if we do move forward, it's not in a way that's productive. We're not giving it our all. And so the first thing that I want to encourage everyone to do is to give your business to God. Give your business to God. And what that looks like for me is I make sure that I'm praying over my business. I make sure that I'm praying over my life. And I make sure that I keep that relationship with God, not just for my personal life, but for my business as well. Like I mentioned, I do pray over my business constantly. And things that are frustrating me or things that I can't figure out, I have to give them to God. And I know there may be some people saying, oh, I don't want to hear this. Oh, I'm not trying to get too religious. Oh, this, oh, that. But this podcast is about me sharing my entrepreneurial journey, just as well as it is about other entrepreneurs coming on here and sharing their journeys as well. Everyone has a different journey. Everyone has a different testimony. But I can't leave God out of my testimony because he's a huge part in my success. He's a huge part in my journey. He's a huge part in the fact that I was able to overcome a lot of obstacles that were set in place that if I didn't have God, I wouldn't have overcome. So it's very important for me to give the credit back to who it belongs to. God ultimately gives us choices as to what we're going to do with the gifts that he plants inside of us. He gives us choices every day, free will as to what we're going to do with our day, who we're going to serve, who we're going to give the credit to. And I have found myself in many a times discouraged and disappointed with the results from my business. I can remember when I first got started with business, and I talk about this a lot, and I was anticipating a lot of support. I was anticipating to be in high spirits. I was anticipating just a lot of things that didn't happen. And for a moment, I got discouraged and I stopped. I stopped promoting my business. I stopped thinking about my business. I think my website went inactive, but I let it go. And when I came back to my business, I made a conscious decision that I was going to stick with it no matter what. So days came. I went through times and trials where I felt like I did not want to keep going because I was just so overwhelmed and because things weren't working in my favor, so I thought. But I say this very frequently as well because this verse holds true to my life, that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So everything that I went through, from me starting my business to me closing it, to me coming back to an online business and transitioning to a salon, to me getting out of the salon, to not knowing really what I wanted to do full time. Did I want to be at a brick and mortar location? Not really. Did I want to do just drop shipping? Not really. I wanted to do way more than be stationed at a building, and I wanted to do way more than only offer wholesale and drop shipping. So I had to really think about what it is I wanted to do. And I enjoyed making mobile money. I enjoyed being able to make money on the go, to be able to have time to spend with my family, and to also be able to have time to get back to my business. And when I say I didn't want to just only do this, I don't want to offend anyone. Everyone has a choice as to what they want to do. There are some people that are fine doing one task. There are others that are not. And I'm somebody where I like to challenge myself. And sometimes I've had trouble in the past with packing so many things on my plate because I was just so anxious and so ready, so I thought, to do all of these different tasks. And the older that I've gotten, the wiser that I've become, and also the more experienced that I've become, I've learned the importance of pacing myself, and I've learned the importance of also not being too stagnant, not waiting too long, but there's a healthy balance in between that that is going to be imperative for a lot of entrepreneurs to grasp onto in order to fulfill their definition of success. And so it's all about making sure that we keep everything in perspective. That's my first point that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the importance of having a purposeful perspective and sticking to that and what that looks like. So this theme today, the whole topic today, is about the importance of pushing through. Keep pushing. And so your perspective needs to be one that is positive. Now, when I say a positive perspective, I don't want to get that misconstrued with saying that you're going to be happy all the time, because you can be sad and still have a positive outlook on the situation that you're going through. You can experience a down moment and a down day and still have an overall positive perspective of how things are going to turn out. So it's not wrong for you to experience emotions of humans, because we're humans. But I'm saying to keep your mind focused on the bigger picture. And that's what I do. This week was rough for me. I felt exhausted. I felt tired. I felt tapped out at times. But I know the importance of pushing through. And I'm not going to push myself to the point where I'm losing sleep, or I'm not eating, or I'm allowing myself to progress in production. But I am going to make sure that I'm treating my body as good as I possibly can, that I'm feeding my mind with positive thoughts, that I'm praying, that I'm keeping that connection with God. Things that I can't handle, I'm trusting God with, and I'm keeping a positive perspective, knowing and trusting that if I do my part, things are going to fall into place. I'm learning in my life that I don't have to know exactly how everything is going to work out. As long as I trust God that it will work out, I don't have to know every single thing. That's something else that I had to work through in my marriage. And I'm going to be talking about that a lot more on my Patreon. So if you are interested in hearing raw talks about just personal matters and also different things that I've overcome in my life, different motivational and inspirational topics, as well as girl talk, quote unquote girl talks. It's not exclusive just to girls or just to women. That's just what I've named it. But I do talk a lot about different topics on Patreon. I do have a Patreon account, and it's under Brittney Bundles as well. But that's something that I had to learn too. You know, having anxiety and feeling like you need to be in control or in the know of everything sometimes can have you very nervous and frightened when you don't know everything step by step. And so trust is huge. Trusting God, trusting the process, trusting your spouse, trusting your family member and your friends, trusting that everything is going to work in your favor is something that takes a positive perspective, and learning, like I said, how to trust and how to give it over to God. So I keep a positive perspective. I constantly tell myself positive things. I constantly feed my mind with the word. I'm constantly making sure that I am tuning out things that are negative, tuning out things that are not going to be in my best benefit, and I'm pushing through. The next thing that I want to touch on is patience. As entrepreneurs, if you're anything like me, sometimes you can find yourself guilty of rushing the process, so to speak, and not being patient enough to sit back and see what's going to happen from the fruit that you've already, or from the seeds that you've already planted. Sometimes we plant all these seeds, but we're not patient enough to actually see the fruit grow. And so we get impatient and we start doing more and more and more, and it begins to be tiring. It begins to feel like you're drained because you're doing so much and nothing seems to be happening. But it could possibly be because we're not being patient enough. Now, when I say be patient, I'm not saying procrastinate. I'm not saying stay still for too long. I'm not saying do something and wait years and years and years until you try to tweak what you have done to see a result. All I'm saying is sometimes we have been impatient. And when I say we, I'm speaking about myself, friends that I know that are in business, as well as different clients that I have worked with. So patience is key. I'm going to encourage all of you to do something with your business and then wait to see what it actually does. For example, one of my goals was to get over 1,000 email subscribers on my mailing list. And I just reached that goal. So I'm super, super excited and proud of myself because of that. However, there would be times that I would create different strategies to get me to that 1,000 mark. And I would get more subscribers and then I would lose some. I would get more email subscribers and then it would just stay stagnant for a minute. I would get more and then I would lose some. And it just felt like it was a cycle that wasn't actually getting over this certain hump. And I'm not a strictly numbers person, but I do look at numbers as an entrepreneur. I'll explain that in depth later on in different episodes. I've explained that on my YouTube channel at Brittney Bundles as well. But I don't drive strictly off numbers. I drive off of foundation and the action steps, because I do strongly believe that if you're doing the right action steps, the results will follow. Now, a lot of times we're not patient enough to see the results actually come to pass. And so I was doing all of this and I was changing up what I was doing and I was freaking out and trying to figure out what was going wrong and why I wasn't getting over this hump. And then I stuck to a certain strategy and I said, you know what, we're going to stick to the strategy. And we're going to stick to the strategy for about 3-4 months. Okay, we're going to actually give it time to grow without changing anything else. And once I did that, I noticed that I was able to get over my hump. I was actually able to reach that 1,000 subscriber goal. And I'm going to share more information about that on my YouTube channel in the near future. So make sure that you're subscribed if you're not already. Again, that channel name is Brittney Bundles. But patience is very essential, especially if we're wanting to keep ourselves encouraged, because sometimes with the impatient comes our doubts. You know, something doesn't happen immediately and now we're doubting it. Well, maybe it won't happen at all, or maybe I did something wrong, or maybe I didn't do enough. And that can definitely play a huge part in becoming discouraged. That can play a huge part in becoming doubtful. That can play a huge part in your thinking patterns changing to negative thoughts. So be patient with yourself and be patient with your business. The next point that I want to touch on is trusting. I just mentioned that a minute ago. That's something that I am learning to do. You know, for so long, I had a mentality that, you know, I don't trust anybody. You know, whatever, I'm going to stick to myself. I'm not going to really try to get out there and meet new people. For what? I'm just going to trust myself. And I learned early on in business that that was not the mentality that I wanted to have, because I didn't want to close myself in and I didn't want to eliminate myself from meeting new people, from growing in business, and from growing as a person. And so I had to decide to open up and to trust people. Now, the issue that I have with trusting people is being vulnerable, and not just being vulnerable, but having the option to have my feelings or my heart hurt. You know, for example, if I trust somebody to work my business and they let me down, that's going to hurt my feelings, right? So I don't think I want to trust anyone with my business. And although you should be very strategic with who you trust with your business, if I had that mentality and I kept that mentality and I didn't change it and I wasn't open to growth, I would have never experienced working with different people in my salon. I would have never experienced working with different partnerships that I've worked with. I would have never grown to the part that I'm currently at, or the place that I'm currently at in my business. So it does take trust. And besides trusting other people, I've learned to trust the process, and that goes hand in hand with patience. So the process is knowing that things are not going to happen overnight. No matter, you know, how hard I try, no matter how well I'm doing a certain task, a lot of times things just don't happen overnight. And I'm also learning to trust God each and every day, learning that with my goods and with my bads, through my ups and through my downs, God has always been there, and he still keeps my business safe and protects me. And so I'm trusting that, all of that, and I'm being positive with my mindset, because I know that I'm trusting ultimately God with the entire process. The fourth point that I want to touch on is character. So your character has a lot to say about how you handle and how you interact with your business. Are you someone that gives up quickly? Are you someone that gets frustrated and just doesn't want anything to do with anything else? Are you someone that gets discouraged and now you're rude to everyone that you interact with? Or are you someone that has the character and the integrity to keep moving the right way and treating people with respect and others how you want to be treated, even if things don't go your way? Or again, are you someone that doesn't care at all if things aren't working in your best benefit? How many businesses have you gone to before and you could tell that the owner was having a bad day? The owner didn't care about how you felt. They didn't care about what you were looking for. They just were there to get a check or there to get a few orders, and then they were gone because they were upset about something in their personal life or upset about something with their business. And again, I'm going to go back to saying we're human. So everyone has a bad day sometimes, or everyone has had a bad day somewhere down the line. However, it's our character that separates certain entrepreneurs from others. People don't come to me constantly, repeatedly, just because my name is Brittney. People come because I have shown through my character how I treat others and how I truly care for what other people are wanting to achieve. I really look at solving an issue or solving a concern or solving a need or solving a want when I'm working with other people. Even before I started my business, that was something that I had a heart for, being able to problem solve and figure out what it is I was offering and how it was that I could be of assistance and add value to the person that came to me looking for an expert or looking for a certain product or a service. So what does your character say if you're someone that is quick to give up? Now, I do want to say this as well. I did experience giving up. And it's not all bad to give up if you know exactly what you're going to do. For example, I knew that I did not want to stay in the salon. And so instead of me wasting time and wasting money doing something all for the sake of saying I'm not giving up, I decided to pivot my business. I decided to change the plan that I initially had when I started the salon. I decided to change the programming. And yes, it did cancel out the salon in order to fuel something else, but I kept pushing through on my entrepreneurial journey. There are many entrepreneurs that have pivoted their business, that have decided to stop one venture and start another. And that's completely fine. I'm not here to tell you that you can never change your mind or you can't grow into a different industry or into a different avenue with your business. But I am saying for those of us that have decided to stop completely because we have allowed our doubts and our negative thinking to overtake our business, I'm encouraging all of you to get back up, dust yourself off, pull the strength from your heart, pull the strength from your mind, pull the strength from God, and get back up and continue to provide value to those that deserve it. And even those that you feel, maybe, they don't deserve it. You may be saying, well, look, this person, they've cussed me out 5 times. They've blown up my phone. They've done this. They've done that. They really don't deserve me doing anything for them. It's your character that separates you from other entrepreneurs. So even if you feel that way, doing what's right and acting in integrity is going to speak volumes. The last thing that I want to touch on before I close out today is having a greater later mentality. And what that means is it will be greater later. It'll get greater later. Has anyone ever heard that saying? I'm sure many of you have. And that's so true. A lot of times we go through cloudy moments in our life and we feel like that's just where we're stuck. It's really hard to see the sunshine. Sometimes we just feel like the sun isn't going to come out anymore. We've been in the clouds for way too long. I started this business and yes, I was excited. And yes, I thought this would happen, but no, it hasn't happened yet. And other people are moving forward and other people are doing this. And I've tried this and it didn't work. So what's the point? The point is to fulfill what it is you set out to do. There is great accomplishment and great fulfillment in doing what it is you set forth to do, that you still want to do, and that you're not giving up on. I don't have an option to give up on something that I want to do. I mean, I guess I have the option, but it's not an option for me. When I think about feeling down, or when I think about becoming discouraged, my option is not to say forget everything. If that's the case, there would not be consistent podcast episodes. Definitely wouldn't be consistent videos on my YouTube channel. There wouldn't be consistent sales through my hair company, Bad Chick Hair, either. So I make a conscious choice, and I'm dedicated to what it is I'm doing, because it's something that I know that's fulfilling to me. It's something that allows me to have the flexibility that I enjoy having, and it allows me to provide value to others out there. And so even if I don't feel like it, there are other people that are depending on what it is I was blessed with, what it is God put inside of me. And you have to have a mentality similar to that. God put gifts inside of you, not just for you, but for you to help others. And not just when you feel like you want to help others, but continuously. So it is like a duty of ours to make sure that we're feeding ourselves with positivity so that we can be our best to help others. And people don't want to hear you say every day, a lie. I'm happy every single day. People are people, and people know and respect the fact that no, every day is not going to be a good day, but you're still here. And even on your bad days, you still have enough integrity through your character to treat them with respect. So keep pushing. Push yourself through. Be your biggest cheerleader. Support yourself, even if no one else is. Like your pictures if you have to. Pat yourself on the back. Clap for yourself. But just know that things will get greater later. It's a matter of you sticking through. And the beauty of sticking through and pushing through is all of the tools that you learned while you were going through. Because I've gone through a lot of times where I felt discouraged, and I felt down, and I felt like, this is not going to work. I've pushed through and I've made it out. So now that I've done that, I know, okay, if this is another area coming along, or another time in my life that's coming along where I'm feeling these same feelings again, I know if I hold on long enough and push through, I'll get out of it too. So push through. I'm with you. We're with you. There are people that are counting on you to succeed. There are people that are planted in your life. What are you going to do with those people? What are you going to tell them? And again, I'm not saying don't allow yourself to feel and don't get down. All I'm saying is don't throw away your business, your dreams, your revenue source, your passion, your purpose, meeting other people, providing value, because of a certain storm that you're going through. That too shall pass. I really hope that this podcast episode resonated with someone out there. If you do want to be a guest on the podcast, please reach out to me. Send me an email to Btalks, that is BTALKS @yahoo.com. Reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is Brittney, BRITTNEY _bundles, BUNDLES. I'm on YouTube Brittney Bundles, Facebook Brittney Bundles, and Twitter Brittney Bundles. Until next time, I'll talk to you all in the next podcast episode.